I just want to welcome everyone and say thank you so much for being here. My first name is Kaylyn, last name Kendall Dines, and it is my honor to welcome you into this space that we call the DB Connector Network. And so on this day, we have a special speaker. And before we tell you about her, let's say the DV Connector Network is the DV stands for Divine Visions, because we believe each one of you has a divine vision that you can and will fulfill. In this space, we bring people together in hopes that by listening to dynamic speakers, what will happen is you'll be able to not just live your best life, but have an impact on the world and on the communities where you take up space from an economic and social impact standpoint. So this room is all about coming together and selflessly sharing, really collaborating, feeding off of one another's energy. And ultimately, we want you to realize that there's a community of people, and that community of people wants to see you win, wants to see you thrive. So that's what this DV Connector Network is all about. And we have Don Viapree to thank for that. He's
Hello, and
the,
welcome to Flutter Forward. It's a really
okay,
exciting
I'm
day,
hearing
and thank you for
something.
tuning in. My name's John. I'm a developer relations engineer on the Flutter and
I'm
Dart
going
team.
to pause.
My name is Kate Lovett. I'm a software engineer on the Flutter Framework team.
Somebody
And
has
we have some
their,
guests from Google and from the community
as
joining us
a,
today. Our first guests are Rodi and Taha. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
I was
thank
going
you.
to
Thank you.
ask
My name
if
is
everyone
Rodi.
could
I am.
mute themselves unless they're speaking. Thank you. So I'll go on to say that what's going to happen in the next few minutes is that, or the time that we have together, is that Andrew Frazier will speak and share on behalf of his business, and you'll hear more about, for entrepreneurs especially, ways you can and resources that are available to help you grow your bottom line. And then he will share a brief video from Don Viapree, and then introduce our speaker. So again, Don, thank you for being the visionary. Thank you for bringing mentees together so that we could get to know each other and learn from one another. And this space has generated and was established because of you. So I'm going to move on. The next thing I want to tell you is I want to mention the theme. The theme for the year is each time we do this, and we do this webcast quarterly. And Andrew, I see your screen. We do this webcast quarterly, and it really is about being the captain of your own vessel, being the leader within that impacts the world. And so really, one of the things that I've heard, and I really believe this, is that public speaking is one of the biggest fears that people have. So being here today, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're somebody who's going to be going on a job interview, whether you're someone who has to pitch an idea to a venture capitalist or anyone else, you're in the right space. Because what's going to happen is we have listen, if this were an airplane, I would say fasten your seatbelts, because Precious Williams is about to bring the fire. Fasten your seatbelts and hold on tight to a pen and paper, because she's going to drop nuggets of wisdom that are really going to help you live your best life, going to help you in your spaces professionally as well as personally. So we are in a position to really be better. And good morning again to everyone who is joining us and who will then see. We will also have a replay of this available, so that once you get that, please do feel free to share with your friends and family and your network. First, I'd like to say, Andrew, I'm about to pass the microphone to you. Andrew is the founder and of Small Business Pro University. He's also the author, and I have two of his book and his workbook here. It's called Running Your Small Business Like a Pro. He's going to tell you a bit more about Small Business Pro University and the resources that you can gain through Small Business Pro University. Andrew, it is my pleasure to turn the microphone over to you so that you can take it from here. Again, I welcome everyone.
Okay, thanks, Kaylyn. Definitely welcome everyone. Glad we're here today. Excited about having Precious Williams in the house. Just want to share a couple quick announcements and items. So I do have a Small Business Pro University created for entrepreneurs and business owners, but it's also just a learning and connection resource to learn about business and other things that can be helpful, whether you have a business or not. We created a Small Business Pro network and an online community, and actually we set up the DV Connector network community. So not only do we have these workshops quarterly, we have an online community which you can access, you can post to, you can see updates in, during in between, and sort of like Facebook and LinkedIn where you can chat directly. One of the key things about the Connector Network is, Don's, bringing us together so we can get to know each other, get to collaborate and support and help each other. And the community is just one more way that we can be able to do that more effectively. So I've got the link in the chat to join, and you also get access to my my community and courses and other stuff. So encourage you to join using the link. As well, many of you know I do a Power Breakfast events for entrepreneurs and business owners. So actually Power Breakfast is here on the 27th of October. We're going to have an event with Terry Travick, who's like amazing. So I'm going to put a link to that in the chat if you want to join us. And then the night before, we're going to have a networking event in Montclair at Montclair Brewery, only African-American owned brewery in New Jersey. So you're welcome to join us that. I'll put a link in the chat as well. And, really, I can share a video of Don, but we actually have Don. So maybe we want to, I don't know if we want to hear from Don. What do you?
Let me veto the video.
Okay.
and explain to everyone why there even was a video. I'm in Delaware right now for memorial service later today, so I thought that I may not have been available for the DV Connector Network event with Precious, but fortunately it is a few hours away, and I was able to be present, still in a room in Delaware, to be able to participate and to learn and exchange, and excited to hear from Precious. So I want to thank all of you for joining, for taking your valuable time today to join and participate and to network amongst each other. I want to also thank Andrew, who's our technical host of the virtual living room, and thank Doreen and also Kaylyn for constantly working collaboratively in order to put these DV Connective webinars together so that all of us can return and reconvene within the virtual living room. Today is a day of remembrance and reflection, and a day of commemoration and celebration. I put it like that because that's exactly what you're going to feel when you get introduced and you hear and participate and interact with Precious Williams, whom we're glad to have today. So thank you all once again for joining, and enjoy and take note and use the chat, and definitely, if necessary, even communicate with each other thereafter.
Okay, great. So want to invite Precious Williams, our featured guest speaker today. She doesn't need much of an introduction, but all we really need to say is she's the killer pitch master, and you're going to learn a little bit about that today, and just learn from her story. It's very inspirational. Hey, Precious.
Hi, how are you? Y'all know it's always difficult when you're trying to get the camera and everything right. How is everybody? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Can y'all see me?
Yes.
We see you.
Okay, I need big energy. It's Saturday morning. It's hashtag Sassy Saturday. Thank you all so much for being here today, Don. I'm eternally grateful. Andrew, the entire team. Thank you all so much for having me. And today I thought it was great. I thought it would be great to talk about the evolution of Precious and wanting to answer the question that Don poses to us. How do you become the captain of your vessel? How do you make decisions? What happens when you have a failure? What happens when things don't go right? What happens as entrepreneurs when you can have the greatest of successes and you feel lonely? What do you do? And so I want to share that with you all today. So just bear with me as I attempt to share my screen. All right, so I think we're good right here. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see the screen?
Yes.
All right. All right, everyone. So I know a lot of y'all know me as the killer pitch master, the pitch queen, and the ultimate rainmaker. But before all of that, again, I was a little girl in St. Louis, Missouri, who had a big, big dream. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about that, but about the things I rarely talk about in my journey. And how did I become the captain of my vessel? What type of legacy do I want to leave behind? And bear with me, it's always good when you're trying to get your light right. Okay. And so let's talk about the evolution of Precious. Here's the agenda for today. I know I don't like reading off slides or anything like that, but I want to take you to where we are going. So going from my birth and rejection all the way to the plot twist and flipping the script on what people think of me and think of my skill sets and my capabilities, and allowing myself to grow in ways that no one thought possible, not even myself. So I want y'all to have energy for me, because I'm going to have energy for y'all. So if I say anything that resonates with y'all, y'all can type hashtag pitch please with a P, with a P, with a P, so that Don doesn't freak out. Or you can say, yes, or go Precious. I want you all to understand the DV Connector is here for us. And so come with your questions. I'm going to go ham and cheese and peanut butter and jelly on y'all. And so this is not a pitch fest, so don't feel like this is what it is. I really want to talk about how I got here and when I truly learned God's purpose on my life and how that changed everything. So some of you know I am the killer pitch master. And over the last year, we've been going through a whole rebranding process from Perfect Pitches by Precious to the Perfect Pitch Group. I am a client of Andrew Frazier, who I've known over 10 years now. And it's been just this amazing experience of when I started with Curvy Girls Lingerie to being the full-figure diva and a plus-size fashionista who showed out on Shark Tank, to now being the ultimate rainmaker who went back into the legal industry to showcase what's possible. So I'm going to bring a little of that Shark Tank, a little bit of that media, a little bit of that razzle-dazzle, and show you where it all came from and the lessons that I learned along the way. So yes, I have a background in law and media communications. I'm a professor at Babson College, 5-time #1 best-selling author, bad bitch with a power pitch. And if y'all need to cut that out, I understand. But my journey was always about defying what people said that I could do, or little black girls, little chocolate girls who, didn't have a certain look, what was still, I believe, possible. And so if y'all are at the point where you're feeling like, can I do this? Can I not? I would encourage you to go for it. Go for it. And one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard was shoot for the moon. And if you don't make it, you'll fall among the stars. So to go from the hood to where I am today has been just this incredible experience of hitting rock bottom 3 times and always bouncing back higher to know that the sky really is the limit. to some of my clients, and just so we all are clear, yes, I am Black on both sides. I have no Brazilian butt lift. I have no six-pack abs. I don't look like what you expect a Hollywood Black woman to look like. But I've been in movies and documentaries. I've been filmed all over the world. I'm an international professional speaker, a top Fortune 100 corporate sales trainer. I still have an accent after all these years. All the things that they said were impossible. I have 2 invisible disabilities. And I still believed in myself when no one else did. So these clients, I don't have them for Black History Month. I don't have them for Women's History Month. This is an all year thing, being booked, busy, and paid to do what I do best. And I never would have found that had I not left being an attorney behind. So when I tell y'all, come through, these are real companies, real contracts, real payments for me to teach and train top Fortune 100 sales teams to go in and be the atmosphere shifter and to be the killer pitch master, slaying all competition. And this is a representative that my VA did of the evolution of me. I started off as a killer pitch master, a 13-time national elevator pitch champion, and then writing books. One of my friends, Quinn Conyers, who you all know, who some of y'all may know very well, she gave me the title of #atmosphere shifter. When I speak, people listen and they're transformed, and they know that I'm not going to give the sunny story of how everything was perfect, that everything fell into place. My journey from the last 5 years has been walking out of darkness, homelessness, alcohol, severe alcohol addiction, grief, heartache, heartbreak, rebuilding myself and doing the very things that seemed impossible. So when I speak, you're getting the real tea, the real true tea of what it took to get here. It took a lot of pain. It took a lot of tears. It took a lot of finding myself. I had to go to places where I was celebrated and not tolerated. I had to go to places where people didn't know my backstory. So all they got to see was my talent and understand immediately that I was necessary to colleges and universities. I was necessary in corporate America. I was necessary for entrepreneurs. I was necessary for sidepreneurs. I was necessary because they needed to understand how to pitch, how to communicate for themselves, and how to make themselves the only choice that matters. And the only way I could do it was to document that journey of going from zero to hero. And now being the ultimate rainmaker and being myself and coming out of wearing suits and coming out of being what people expected me to be in this box, accepting that I'm a full figure diva and a plus size fashionista, accepting that I like to dress and be a certain way. And that has never stopped a company from ever saying, I don't want to work with Precious, because I'm very clear on who my audience is. I'm very clear that as you as an entrepreneur, you're constantly going up this ladder, and it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to be easy. But the best thing is having the right people around you. So thank you again to DV Connector. Thank you again to Don. Thank you so much to Andrew Frazier. Thank you to everyone who is here today. So let's get it popping. So how did I even get heard? Like here, or whatever. How did I get heard? Took rejection, mistreatment, pain, and being unwanted. So some of you all know that my mother and my father had me really young and didn't have the skill set to be able to provide. And so knowing from the time I was born, my mother wanted to leave me in the hospital, to being mistreated, to being nearly beaten to death when I was 12 years old. And to being placed in my father's custody. And he's a drug addict and has been since he was 18. Being told by my mother every day of my life, I hate you and I wish you were never born. You're too ugly. You're too skinny, which y'all know is not my problem today. I'm not too skinny. And that no man would ever love me. Nobody would ever like me. I didn't have the looks of my beautiful light-skinned green-eyed sister. And yet there was something in me that kept me when you know, in the natural, everything looked bleak. I'm in the hood. I am looking at boys who are looking at my sister and always trying to talk to me about my sister. And yet still knowing that there was something special about me. I knew I'm a star. I knew at 5 years old, watching Sally Jesse Raphael, Phil Donahue, that I was going to be a talk show host. I knew I would have billboards in Times Square, even though I was in the hood of St. Louis. I knew. So if you're coming in, please put your like not your camera, but please put yourself on mute. But in the natural, no one believed that but me. And so how do you know you're a star if everything around you says it can't happen? Again, I am not I don't have an exotic look. I'm a regular, degular, schmegler black girl who always felt unwanted. And yet I still believed I was somebody. So I had to make a decision at some point. But more importantly, my dad had to make a decision. He put me in the care of my grandparents. And my grandparents are Raymond Woodrow Williams and Precious Dolores Williams. Hence, that's where I got my name from. So my grandparents, when they brought me in their house at 15 years old, they loved me to life because I was so sad. I was so sad, and spending 15 years of your life feeling unwanted, unloved. Who was I to dare to think that I could break out of that? But my grandmother told me I could. My grandmother and my grandfather twinkled my toes in the morning, made me breakfast. That was my bath water drawn. I was called Queen Bee. My grandmother spoke life over me every day. She said, Oprah's gonna know your name. When you speak, people listen. And I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional because it's still, her birthday is coming up on October 23rd. But she said every day that I was somebody. And it didn't matter the 15 years that preceded. She had to wait that long to get me. So in their house, I was driven to school every day. And when I walked out of school, she was right there. Coming home, we sat at the table and we ate food and they drank their Pepsis and they chain smoked GPC cigarettes. And they were interested in me. What has ever happened in the first 15 years of my life? And over time, she built me up. So when I got my first speaking engagement before the mayor of the city of St. Louis, before I got my first speaking engagement, my second speaking engagement before the governor of Missouri, remember, I'm a hood girl, hood. Nobody believes. Too skinny, too ugly, nothing pretty about me. And yet she kept telling me what my destiny was, because when I was a little girl, she knew it. She knew who I was. When you're coming in, everyone, please put your thing on mute. She knew who I was. And so there were so many decisions to be made. What college am I going to? As a first high school graduate in our family, as a valedictorian of the class of 1997, I was always in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I was literally paid to go all over the state of Missouri and speak on issues that I never knew about. But my teachers wrote my speeches, and I instantly knew when I would open them up right there on stage to read them, but interpret them. That's a gift. And she sat right there watching me. She said, that's my baby. And she provided a way. Full scholarship to Spelman College, full scholarship to Georgetown University Law Center. So there were things that had to happen. I had to go through hell to understand what love really was like. But in all of that, what decision do you have to make? What decisions did I have to make? Yes, I became an attorney in the great state of New York. Yes, I passed the bar on my first try, even surprising myself. But I did get kicked out of Georgetown in March 15, 2002, even though I just started in September 2001. What happened in September 2001? Yeah, I know, 9/11. What else happened? I left Spelman College, full scholarship, full everything. Walked into Georgetown and instantly felt like I didn't belong. My father wasn't a mayor, a governor. I didn't come from that. And I instantly felt like I'm not good enough. Now, mind you, Spelman prepared me for so much. But I was deeply insecure of my past and my family and coming from the bottom. I was so ashamed that it colored my law school experience. 9/11 colored my law school experience. I did not want to go back to Georgetown. And you know what? They disenrolled me, kicked me out. And you know what? That needed to happen because a decision had to be made. Rutgers School of Law came into my view because a mentor told me to go over and talk to the dean. I could never do that at Georgetown. Go over and talk to the dean. So I met with the dean. Not only did they provide me with real love and support, they even sweetened the deal by putting a full scholarship on it, full room and board, bar view expenses paid. And I'm just giving y'all that real tea. And I did what I had to do. And I finished. I had a nervous breakdown April 12, 2004. Sitting in Newark Beth Israel Hospital for 3 months. I'm thinking my life is over. Maybe I'm not supposed to be an attorney. And yet the deans came to my hospital bed because my auntie, Miss Thugalicious herself, said, you better go see Precious or I'm gonna come see you. They thought the better option was to come see me, and they had my back. They said, you coming back, your donor is not giving up on you. You're gonna finish this, and we're gonna make sure you finish. Became the #1 student attorney in my class in my last semester. December 15, 2016 was my last day. I beat every prosecutor. Took the February 2007 bar and passed on my first try, studying at the Robert Treat Hotel. Became that attorney. Sullivan and Cromwell, clerk for federal judge. All of this sounds like the up and down, because that's what my life has been, this roller coaster. But you know what? I didn't like being an attorney. I didn't like it. And to be quite honest with y'all, I'm not someone who can sit in an office all day. I'm not someone who can have the same schedule every day. Not understanding, I've been speaking since I was 16. I'm now in my 30s. And it was time to take a chance on myself. And so when I left my ex-fiance, y'all haven't even heard his name, but I left my ex-fiance on March 15th, 2010. What did you hear about those 2 days? March 15th, 2001, 2002, I got kicked out of Georgetown. March 15th, 2010, after a 7-year relationship, I left my ex-fiance. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know anything. But shortly, I would meet the man who changed my life. I was 327 pounds, feeling lost, never realizing that I would meet a very famous actor who would change the game for me. Never think a man like that would look at me, let alone give me love. And we had a great relationship. But I recognized that intimate apparel for women my size just wasn't out there. It was a size 28. And I wanted to change that. I wanted to do some amazing things. So what was that decision I had to make? Do I stick with being an attorney, or do I go ham and cheese and all in on pitching curvy girls lingerie? So, you know, family and friends they didn't want to give me any investments. And some of us come from situations where family and friends could never see it because they've never seen it with someone who's been around them. So their first gut reaction is to tell you it can't happen. The second one is you should be safe in being an attorney. And if I knew the words put some respect on my name, I would have said that back then. But I had to embody what put respect on my name is. So some of y'all know I went to an event I couldn't afford, pitched, and that was the game changer. One, meeting a man who would change my life, who was in a relationship with me. Two, realizing there's a gap in the market for women who are my size who like nice underwear. Even if you didn't know you like nice intimate apparel back then, you do now. And they didn't make it in your size. So Curvy Girls Lingerie was my dream, and I knew it would succeed. And I knew I wasn't competing with Victoria's Secret. I knew I wasn't competing with Journelle Wolfer, Agent Provocateur. I knew I wasn't doing it. But what I was going to do was change the game. This picture you see on the side, that is, I believe that's the Inspiration Award. And that award meant the world to me because I was considered fat, overweight, ugly, stupid, who's ever going to listen to me. And I had to keep this dream going. How do you fund a dream that no one can see but you? How do you keep going when you hear no all the time? I was committed to creating Curvy Girls lingerie no matter what. And as I look at these pictures, I want y'all to look at this, like, because I hadn't seen these pictures in a long time. Because you know, Perfect Picture by Precious has been longer than Curvy Girl. But I'm sitting here looking, and it has truly, I remember when we got this deal with Amazon. I remember pitching on MSNBC. I remember pitching on Shark Tank, doing the very things that seemed so impossible because they said I didn't have the looks. I didn't have the pedigree. I didn't have all of these things. And I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Just like I'm going to prove my parents wrong. Just like I'm going to prove my community wrong. Just like I'm going to prove the hood wrong. My decision is I'm going to bet on myself. If nothing else, Beyonce said it. I don't like to gamble, but if I'm going to bet on anything, I'm going to bet on P. I'm going to bet on Queen Bee. I'm going to bet on the GOAT. And that is me. So in that time of pitching, in that time of getting in spaces and in places, the dream was born. And I became the killer pitch master for raising almost $750,000 for my company, not from family and not from friends, but through investors, through getting on television shows, through being invited into spaces. So when I tell y'all to go where you're celebrated and not tolerated, it does make a difference. If you're the smartest around you, you're in the wrong place. And that decision at 5, that little girl who was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I didn't have the looks, I didn't have any of that. But what I did have is when I started to embrace Precious at 327, how do you embrace being fat, overweight, overlooked? Well, I wasn't overlooked by the right people. I knew the numbers of Perfect Pictures by Precious. I know who I am. And my weight fluctuated, but I kept going. So my impossible dream really turned my perceived flaws into my secret weapon. Yes, I'm Black. Yes, I'm a woman. Yes, I have invisible disabilities. You know, I didn't go to an Ivy League institution. I didn't come from money. I didn't grow up with connections, but they were my secret weapon because no one ever saw me coming. I didn't fit into data. And if I didn't fit in the data, you can't see me coming. So when I walked into spaces and I was pitching against people who looked nothing like me in terms of everything, I wasn't afraid because they didn't know who I was. They hadn't read about me. They hadn't studied me, but I had studied them. And so Curvy Girls Lingerie was born. The great lesson is the best revenge is massive success. You're going to be told no so much. You're going to be told you ain't popping. So think about that. They told me it would never happen. So success lies in being a professional. Success lies in having a steady paycheck. Success lies in lightening my skin color and becoming the bodacious 20, 30, and 40-year-old woman. But I want y'all to see this trajectory from nothing, negative $40 in my bank account, flipping it into $500,000 in one television appearance. From MSNBC's Your Business to Shark Tank, to getting those investments. All of that happened through hearing no so much and understanding these people can't help me, they don't see it. Who sees me? Who's going to understand from the very beginning? That's why target markets matter. And I didn't realize that I've been pitching to the wrong people. I've been presenting my idea to the wrong people who had a limited view of what a Black woman can do, who doesn't fit the mold, who doesn't fit the data points. And that's why it's important to becoming the pitch queen. So winning 13 out of 14 national competitions. In fact, my last one was Black Enterprise on May 16, 2013. That means 10 years ago, I earned the title from Robert Townsend and MC Light when I won. But did I know that Shark Tank and Black Enterprise and all these amazing things that I'd done, did it prepare me for what was coming? Right after Shark Tank, the love of my life died. And I can't tell y'all to this day, the grief and not understanding I was going through grief, not understanding that I couldn't talk to my friends about what had happened. I'm looking on TMZ, I'm seeing this stuff and it can't be. One, because I left him. I left him because I didn't think he saw me. But the truth of the matter is, and why I left him, is because in my mind, I believed I needed to be smaller to be with him. When he didn't understand, he was telling me, you need to have an agent to be able to do all these big things. And I knew I could do this. I got the skill set, I got the talent, I got the juice, I got the sauce. And he said, it's impossible. I had to walk away. We were not together when he died. I went from 327 to 181 pounds. I was getting ready to appear on the Rachel Roy show, right? The chef. I lost all that weight. I took a picture in her nautical themed dressing room. He said, nice, but there was no like that kind of love you used to get. And it's taken me years to understand what he was trying to tell me. I never asked you to lose weight. I never asked you to slim down. I never asked you to look like who I've dated in the past. You were different and you were so loved. And even though I messed up in saying certain things to you, who you are is what attracted me. Your Two to Tango poem was what captivated me on Craigslist in 2010. That is what led us to having that relationship. It had nothing to do with your weight. You are out here with curvy girls lingerie, and in your mind, you can't get over that a gorgeous 6'4" man would ever want you for real. It has to be your accomplishments. It has to be your achievements. Do you know the lessons I've learned from looking back over that relationship? Number one, I took myself very seriously. But number two, I missed important lessons. Number three, I walked away because I had to. But I did everything without who he thought I needed. So I drank and drank and drank to numb myself, to forget he's gone, to mourn that maybe no other man would ever love me. Maybe I am ugly. Maybe I am what my mother said I was. Maybe the best of me has already happened. And so for 2 years, I was homeless on the streets of New York. Yes, I tried to take my life on my 38th birthday, but I'm here at 45. And so I walked out of homelessness. I was at the Bowery Mission Women's Center for 2 years. Walked out September 1st, 2018. As y'all know, today is September 16, 2023. I graduated from the Bowery Mission in a big ceremony tomorrow, 5 years ago. When I walked out, I had a nice job. But before that, the job I had before that, they escorted me out when they found out I was disbarred. I didn't know I was disbarred. And to have security walk you out, it was painful. And I thought no one would ever hire me. Like I'm just trying to come up from the slavery of my mind, the slavery of bad decisions. But I got another job at a place called Worthy, where I was a senior sales consultant, the number 2 seller in that entire company, luxury diamond auction house. But I knew I had to be Precious Williams again. And so I quit that job with no money set aside. And I said, it's time to be the killer pitch master. Luckily, kings and queens came around to help. We put out my first book, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, for women entrepreneurs and speakers only, when I was 40 years old. It probably should have came out earlier, but so many women and men told me no one would ever buy my book because it's not about respect. I'm not respectable enough. I'm a failure.
Good.
I'm all
I
these
like to
things.
have
If you're just coming on, please put your thing on mute. So imagine my surprise going with a small Black woman-owned publishing house, Penn Legacy, putting this out, and it went straight to #1. I thought 2 people would buy it. This book put me on the map. Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only. This book got Forbes magazine to look at me. This book got me a billboard in Times Square at 40 years old. I'm supposed to be tired and through. I'm supposed to be too fat to pay attention to. I still don't have an Ivy League degree. And yet I'm in a billboard in Times Square from that 5-year-old to I'm 40 years old, looking at the face my mother said no one could love. And here it is. This book got me into corporate America. This book got me into Ivy League institutions where I'm teaching at Harvard. I'm teaching at Columbia. When I tell you this book was a game changer, even with this title, because it's for women entrepreneurs and speakers only. This book put respect on my name. This book showed you why I'm a 13-time national champion. This book showed you why I'm an international professional speaker, top Fortune 100 corporate sales trainer. This book taught me pitch please. This book went over my life years ago when people said no one cared about pitching. You don't represent, you don't look the part. Well, mind you, there's a billboard in Times Square and Forbes magazine put me on the map. When they reviewed it with an article said, pitching is bitching. When have you ever known Forbes to put a curse word in the title of an article? They did that with me. Today, I'm a 5-time #1 best-selling author because, you know, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the workbook. Then we got Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches playbook to convert conversations into what? Currency. Then we got the 4th book, The Pitch Queen, a woman's journey from poverty to purpose and profits. And then this year, my 5th book, Rainmaking 101 from Day One, Packaging, Positioning, and Pitching Exposed. This book brought me back into the legal, to the legal industry. I was disbarred when I was homeless and had no idea. I was disbarred and kicked out of that job. And yet today, I'm training attorneys. I'm training law firms. In fact, on September 27th, I'm teaching at Columbia University in their business school and their law school. Rainmaking 101. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Pitch, please. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about that. Did I think when I walked out of homelessness, I've been clean and sober off of alcohol come January 27th, my 45th birthday, 7 years. 7 years. But 5 years ago, I walked out of homelessness. It took a lot to get me here. And yes, I've had 3 billboards in Times Square. My 3rd book, you know, Forbes did that, right? Another article for their $1 million and multi-million-dollar companies. There was a different reporter who wrote on me. And that put me in a 2nd billboard in Times Square. What? So I'm telling y'all, this is that truth. But you know what it's time to do? It's time to flip the script on these people. Because I'm more than a pitch master. I'm more than a pitch queen. It's time to show y'all that I'm a communication skills expert. There's a reason why I can speak to the media. There's a reason why I got into corporate America easily through big tech and financial services. Do you want to know why? It's not because my accent. It's not because I'm Black. It's because I'm the GOAT of what I do. And pitching is more than what people think it is. It is so much more. Every time you're speaking, your social media posts are a pitch. There's so much more to pitching than people know. There's 6 different types of pitching, but we only know elevator, media, and investor. But a true master knows there's 6: sales, speaker, and interview pitches. So do you see why pitching goes so much bigger? But it took a Black woman 13 years ago to understand that pitching was going to be the future. And even when people couldn't see it, I knew. Just like I knew full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas would no longer be denied. And so Curvy Girls Lingerie set it off. But it's time for me to do that plot twist on people. It's time for me to let them know. So here we are. I'm coming back into the legal field. And no, I'm not coming back. I am back. And working with Andrew I remember when I had the idea for Rainmaking 101 in the Perfect Pitch Academy. And he said, Rainmaking 101, that's going to be your showstopper. That's going to be your moneymaker. No one believes that someone who is disbarred can come back. But you have put respect on your name. You have integrity. You have testimonies from the biggest companies in the world who had to take a chance on you, and now they keep coming back. So I want y'all to see what the rebrand of what I've done and what my team has done. We started off with Curvy Girls Lingerie. We became Perfect Pitches by Precious. And now we are the Perfect Pitch Group. Look at the difference in the pictures. We have a new focus. We have a new website. We got new vision. And we got what? New clients. It can be done. So here's some lessons. I'm just going to check to make sure. Am I good on time, Andrew? Okay, he's not saying nothing.
You are good on time.
I'm good.
As much time as you want.
Okay. So I know I could talk on and on, but let me just allow, does anyone have any comments or thoughts that they want to share before I go on? Because we are getting towards the end. And for me, I want to feel that you all are engaged. I can't see any comments, but does anybody want to come on camera or just speak? I'd love to hear what you're hearing and what you're learning so that I can give you some of these life lessons that have come along the way. Does anybody want to say anything?
Keep on going. Keep on going.
Sharita, is that you?
Yes.
So Sharita, first of all, thank you so very much for being our first volunteer. What do you want me to keep going on? Are you just like, I'm loving what you're saying? And if you have a company, if you're working somewhere, share a little bit of that with me too.
It's your story. Your story alone, your approach, that big energy on this Saturday morning. I'm just here for it, sucking it in, taking all I can take and utilizing it in my daily, personal, and oh, you're right, in the perfect space. This rebranding process I'm going in.
Yep.
I'm here. I was supposed to be here. Thanks to my lovely friend, Nikisha Adams Wilson. She should be.
Thank you, Nikisha Adams Wilson.
For the invite. So I'm just here taking it in. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Let's all clap for the heavyweight champ, Sharita. Do we have anyone else who wants to say something? We'll have more time for questions and answers in the end. I just need to feel y'all energy because I can't see you. Nobody else want to say nothing? Okay. Y'all making me feel.
No, I love you. You know I love you.
I'm
Good
sorry.
morning. I just wanted to say your story is so powerful and inspiring, and it definitely needs to be shared on other platforms.
Thank you, Kimberly G. And what brought you here today?
I was brought here. I got the Evite, and I just said, "Oh my God!" It just, it just captivated me. The pitch, your book, and everything. And I said, "Wow!" And I'm new to the network, and I had attended a previous, so I just found this platform so powerful as well. And definitely the word needs to get out, and I share it with as many people as I can, and I encourage, because it's all about the family and, helping each other and spreading the word. Like if you know something, share it with somebody else.
Thank you so much, Kimberly G. Let's clap for the heavyweight champ. And let's all take a page from Kimberly G. If you all are enjoying what you're hearing today, invite others to the DB Connector. Invite them to come and to listen to people who look like them that they may never have heard of that are doing amazing things. Also, make sure that you check out Andrew Frazier and, his community too. Like they're all one and the same, but we need to really support one another. And sometimes support isn't the financial, sometimes it's showing up, because you'll learn so many wonderful things. And there's so many people you don't know who can change your life. And Don has changed my life, Andrew has changed my life, and every one of you have changed my life by listening. So thank you all so very much. And so as we are coming to the end, towards the end, let me just share with you some of these life lessons. I know I've been sprinkling them throughout, but to answer the question, am I the captain of this vessel? I want you to ask yourself that. Are you the captain of your vessel? Are you the captain of your ship? Are you the captain of your life? Are you? And so when I was at Spelman College, I did pledge Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated 8 Pi Kappa chapter. My line name was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. On my neck was the dream team. So if you ever had a dream team of Deltas, I'm on that dream team. What did it take for me to get there? Blood, sweat, and tears. And I don't mean in like the gory way, but it was gory when you think about my life story. Right here was rocky because I fought my way out of everything. On my jacket, on the pocket was De La Soul 2, and on this was Deep Impact. We had a line called, I think it was called Invictus, and I can't think of the number behind it. But in one of the lines it says, my head is bloody but unbowed. It says, I am the captain of this ship and the master of my soul. So in life, we're going to be beat up. In life, things are not going to go your way. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whatever, you're in corporate America, you're starting a nonprofit, whatever, you're going to battle some things. And so you need to know who you are. And that took place over time with me. I was in boxes so long, I didn't recognize myself. I always wondered why I didn't fit in the workplace. I always wondered why, if I don't want to be with you, I'm not going to stick around and pretend that I like you. I don't know how to do that. And being told I can only wear certain things it just didn't sit well with me. And I thought there was something wrong with me. My head has been bloodied, but I'm not bowing down to these people. I'm not bowing down to anything but God. And if I am the captain of this vessel, my vision has to be clear. And since I fought a lot of battles, it takes great mentors and great coaches and great organizations to show you that it's always been inside of you. And society will put all of this other stuff on you to distract you. And when I understood that, I've been a professional speaker since I was 16, that God put that in me. He put it in me to be able to shift the atmosphere of any room that I'm in. When I bless a microphone, I go ham and cheese and peanut butter and jelly on it. I am not afraid if someone has a bigger name on stage than me. I am not afraid that you come from a certain family. I am not afraid that you were in this, that, and the other, because when it comes to this, you're going to have to do battle with me. I'll meet you in a dark alley at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't even have to know what the subject is, but I'm about to smoke you in here. I practice on my craft. I invest in my craft. I show up and I show out no matter how tired I am. I am the captain of this vessel. And you're going to have to know that. I'm not backing down from anyone. And it's funny, I've been on stages with way bigger names than mine. I ain't flinching because I was built for this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Number 2, be guided by your North Star. One of the things that Andrew has really taught me is that not only is it okay to say no, the higher up the food chain you go, you're going to have to say no and mean it more often. And no is a complete sentence. What are the things that guide you? See, I'm here for the misfits and those who want to stand out. I'm here for those who didn't feel like they fit in, but they had a unique vision of how the world can be. I'm here for them. I'm here for those who want the freedom to show up and to show out in their brilliance and to know that there's a community for you. I am here for those companies, corporations, foundations, and nonprofits who are tired of getting the same old with a sales trainer, or, are teaching the same thing year after year and it's not getting any results. I am here to shake the tables. And so if you want the tried and true from yesteryear, you don't want Precious. But if you want somebody who's going to come in and shake it up, going to make you rethink things, who is not going to allow my invisible disabilities, my skin color, my age, my race, the class I came from to the class I'm in today, then I'm ready for you. Otherwise, the answer has to be no. I have to go where I'm celebrated and not tolerated. I don't pay to be on people's stages. I'm gonna say that again. I don't pay to be on people's stages when I can create my own. Packaging, positioning, and pitching. That's what I'm great at. Communication skills. I am not here to regurgitate other people's stuff when I built my own. What is your North Star? What principles are you guided by? What do you want your audience to see when they see you? I'm vulnerable, but I'm tough. And you have to be in these businesses. If you want just a perfect story of how I made every decision right, no, my pitches are perfect. I am not. I'm still growing, and I'm honored. Rejection equals the ultimate protection. Do you know how many times I've heard no, nah, I'm on that, thank you, next? Because the things that I thought I wanted weren't for me at all. They weren't. They would have required me to show up as someone else. They would have required me to be something that I couldn't be. I'm coachable. However, being rejected made me stronger, because when that yes started happening, it kept coming. People who dissed me years ago are now in my inbox asking how they can work with me. The tide changed. When you're a visionary, they're going to stomp on that and say, there's no way. You don't have this, that, and the other. You know what I do have? I have the Heavenly Father. I have a purpose on my life. And last time I checked, he doesn't need a co-signer. He knit me in my mother's womb, that he knew how this was going to play out. Just because you didn't see me 13 years ago, just because you didn't see me coming back 5 years ago, just because you now at this playground with me. You rejected me before, but that was protection. And now you see that there's a whole big world out there that loves me, supports me, and everything like that. So it is, that rejection was the ultimate protection. I didn't have to switch up for anybody. The power of no, we need to say it more and more often. There are times, yes, I know I get stressed because sometimes you're not looking at your schedule and you see all of these things. So rarely do I, get overbooked, but there are times where you just got to say, no, it's not the right time. That is not the target market I need to be in front of. That is not what I want to do. I do not work for anyone. So don't make me feel like I got to work to be the speaker. Don't make me feel like I'm an employee of yours, because I'm not. I am a partner. I am a teacher, a master instructor, a trainer. I am not a coach. I am not a coach. And I'm not an employee. And I'm the captain of this vessel. And this is what I'm steering. It's great to see beyond the obvious. They want to lump you into categories, and you have to be able to say, that's not where I'm going to be. And that's why no is important. And please, everyone, don't let your past become a prison. Some people want to keep you in that prison and say everything bad about you. When I put respect on my name and I operated in integrity, it changed how people saw me. Gone are the days me making alcoholic decisions, because I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. But if my food is right, y'all know I'm gonna be eating the entire time while people are drinking. I don't care. And I want to be in the right environments. So I say no to situations that don't serve me. They don't serve my team. They don't serve my environment. I move on with swiftness and precision. And so right after this, y'all, I just want to share this with you all so y'all can see how things are different. I'm doing a Pitching for Profit masterclass right after this at 1 o'clock. I'm so excited that the women are so excited to show up. But this is part of my plot twist, right? And so even though I work with companies, corporations, foundations, and nonprofits, there are things that I do for individuals to really showcase that my journey is real. It's happening in real time before you. But I don't want y'all to just be pitching for revenue. I want y'all to pitch for profit. How do you get funders? How do you get, how do you turn prospects into clients? How do you get people to say yes? How do you get investors and clients and customers just to say yes? What do you need to change about your pitching? Do you even understand what pitching is and the ones that you need? Then I'm doing Pitching for Profit Masterclass right after this. I'm excited about that. And then I'm doing a Pitching for Profit Masterclass Part 2 on September 30th. And that is more focused on, now that they've said yes, now that they purchase, how are we going to turn them into repeat buyers and customers? How are we going to keep that referral funnel on lock? How do we make sure that people only see you as the only choice that matters and constantly keep coming back to you? You're not learning this from something I learned in a textbook. I live this. I teach this to my clients. And it's so wonderful that my third book was called Pitching for Profit, The Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into what? Currency. And I didn't say cash, I said currency. If you have the right relationships, you'll never be broke again. I promise you. And so that's why it's important to be in different organizations like DV Connected. They're already connecting us right now. Come through. And so people tell you that you are impossible, your dreams are impossible, I want you to say this to them in your mind. Pitch, please. Pitch, please. Pitch, please. And I said it with a P, so Don doesn't smack me around in a dark alley later. If you all have enjoyed what you've heard today, please take out your cell phones if you can. And I want you to go to this QR code. So I'm only going to ask you a couple of questions. This is not long at all. But this questionnaire will let DV Connector and me know if you've learned something today. Did you enjoy being here today? Did you feel like you got your time, which is your most valuable resource, worth of what you needed? And so I'm asking y'all to do this now. I'm gonna leave it up on the screen. Y'all know my 5 books. They're always available for purchase. We can come back to that, but I want y'all to see this is my 5 books. And it feels good to know that from 40 to 44, I've written 5 books, and they put respect on my name. They're bought in bulks by companies, corporations, foundations, and nonprofits. And that is how you do it. This is my contact info. I'll go back to this just to make sure if y'all need to take time with this. But we're actually done, and I'm here for questions and answers, but I want to make sure y'all do this. Andrew, if you give me a thumbs up to take this off the screen, I'm available for questions and everything. I just want to make sure that they have time to do that.
All right, we'll leave it up for a while you're taking Q&A.
Okay, because I can't see anybody, so that's why I'm like, want to make sure that I bless people with that. So yeah, tell me when to take it down.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to ask for question and answer, but if anyone wants to ask me a question, if you have a comment to make, please bring it.
Okay.
I thought people were gonna ask me questions. Did I do bad, y'all? Is it like that? Oh,
Well,
Nikisha?
Yes, Nikisha. First, I want to say thank you so much, one, for your energy and for your light. I think a lot of times when we go through dark phases, we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I thank you for not only celebrating the light, but taking us through the entire journey. So regardless of where we are, we're able to see that we just have to keep going. And like you said, if you don't hit the moon, at least you'll touch the stars. So I just So again, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing and for bringing your light into this room this morning. So I'm grateful for you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikisha. Was there anything that I said today that really stood out, or were you like, oh, I didn't know that about her?
You said, don't allow yourself to be a prisoner of your past.
Woo. That was the biggest thing. That was one of the biggest things. Because the prison I had in my mind versus the prison other people had me in kept me from really getting out there and doing what I really wanted to do. And when I finally just had to realize that all of us have made mistakes. Right. All of us have learned some hard lessons. And if I sit here in this, even after reading scripture, the old is gone and the new is here. I think about some of those scriptures that were so important to me at the Bahrain Mission Women's Center. One of the things that I'll go into scripture, but there was two sayings that I always saw on the walls. One was, God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. And God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And I had to look at those every day because I felt called to do something. But I didn't know if people were ready. My ex-business partner trashed me on social media years ago. And people believed everything. So when I came out on social media, I was thinking I was gonna get this onslaught of people from way back when. And that's not what I experienced. And so I sat as a prisoner for years. Did I make messed up choices? Of course I did. I didn't understand grief. I didn't understand the thing of strong Black women means you can't express pain. And so you internalize it by doing bad things to yourself. And it's important to me to not hold back on those things. I don't say that when I'm in companies and corporations, foundations, because that's not the target market for that. But in certain environments, I think it's important that people never just see a perfect story. Because if your story doesn't match that story, you think it can't be done. And so with all the things that I've gone through, and especially today talking about leaving one man for another, leaving that man not knowing that his time was almost up anyway, what that would do to my mind, or being able to talk to my mom on Mother's Day this year because my friend told me to do it. And was I looking for freedom or anything? No. But I wasn't going to allow my mother to say she was stupid and that I said, nah, you made bad decisions. Trust, you did that. I said, but I understand that I have more opportunities than you ever did. And at 23 years old, if I had a child, I don't know what I would have done. And that you thought your life would turn out one way and it didn't. And you took out all of that on me. I do forgive you.
Right.
But I made the most out of that. So my pain was powerful. And I don't operate in pain anymore. I operate in love and compassion and understanding that the people I walk around and see every day, we're walking wounded. And you need to have inspiration that it can be done. So thank you, Nikisha.
Thank you.
Nobody else got nothing to say?
Yes, I
All
have.
right. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I've worked with Precious, I've seen her develop. And to do things like she's doing, it takes determination, and it takes hard work. In the dictionary, is the only place where success comes before work. So, Precious, if you could share a little bit about your routine and sort of how, what you do behind the scenes to be as successful as you are.
Ooh. So behind the scenes, ooh. Well, Andrew, I have to really thank you. Before I even say anything, I really have to thank you. So Andrew and I meet usually every week unless I'm just, gone, flew out to different location, country, city, whatever. But the one thing that's important to me, Andrew said, you're going to need a team. He said to me, and you know what, y'all, can I just keep it a bean? I was afraid to have a team because I don't know how to manage. And I was too embarrassed to tell him. So he was like, you're going to need a full-time VA. You're going to need your social media team. You're going to need automations, processes, and all that stuff. Stuff you see on social media all the time people talk about. But a lot of us have been burned because those people did not know exactly what they were doing. You're going to need, so I have an agent. I have a speaker agent, right? And let me be clear, y'all. I can get booked on my own. I just can't handle the contract. Like, people want certain things. The fact that I have an agent who works on commission, so she knows if I'm eating, she eating too. Do you hear me? Right? So having a team around you, how's a website going to be rebuilt from Perfect Pitches by Precious to the Perfect Pitch Group? Who's good? Like, what is the difference between those two? One is the audience, because I'm in front of a different audience than Perfect Pitches by Precious ever was. How do we take old content? So when I tell you, one of the things I have to learn is, how do you deal with a team if you've never done it before? You're so used to doing it by yourself. So every morning, if possible, unless I'm out, I meet with my full-time VA. I'm giving him the list of things I need to do. And you know, the thing I had to learn is let him do him. Let him do him, because he's going to do it better than me, because I don't know technology like that. Number two, having a bi-weekly meeting with my social media and website team on all the initiatives we're going to be coming out with, and making sure that we're strategically moving forward, getting those KPIs together. What's the return on investment we're seeing so far? All of those things, going over the numbers month by month. With Wendy, who is handling systems, automations, and processes, you know, what platforms do I need to be on for the onboarding to be seamless? When I tell y'all all this takes time, it cannot be done in a day. We took all summer, which usually is a slower period, but this entire year I've been booked, busy, paid, and out. So how do we do all of that? Andrew has developed a system. He has been on me with these calls. He has, you know, helped me to understand that the real CEO shows up to do only what they're supposed to do. The team handles this other stuff. And that's how you grow and you scale, right? So I know what some of y'all may be thinking. I was thinking, do I have the money for all of this? Do I have this and that? And it turned out, when you start getting uber focused, when you have someone who has that zone of genius, the money is there. You're not just charging more just to be charging more. Remember, y'all, I was teaching individual women how to win pitch competitions in the beginning. Now I'm training companies, corporations, foundations, and nonprofits. The money scale is different. Am I charging the right amount? Having a conversation with my agent, Lee, hey, step this up, you know, whatever. And making sure the contracts are right, making sure that first class, everything, you know what I'm saying? There was a time I never asked for first class anything. I'm taking whatever, you can be the last. We're not doing that today, because I'm not who I used to be. I'm showing up differently, which is why packaging, positioning, and pitching all work together. And so it's not enough to say I have great clients, whether they were the individuals or the corporate. Why did they choose me? Why do they consistently work with me? So another thing that I do, I wake up every morning and I give thanks to God. I do my devotionals. I actually listen to two scriptures, Psalm 139 and Psalm 91. And sometimes I'll throw in Psalm 23. After that, I read this devotional for women. Every day has a thing. And then I have my 90-day planner. So in that 90-day planner, every day I've written things that goes along with my Google Calendar, Google goals for the day, right? So that all has to be done before I get to work, before I get to even working. So I know, what are the top 5 things I got to do that day? Are there things that throw things off? Yes. Like on Thursday, I spoke at the United Nations and Worth Media. I didn't know they had a whole day planned, because I thought it was only going to be there for a short period of time. So that throws off other things. And I'm like, yesterday I did a training for Dance Studio Owners Association in their inner circle. I'm thinking I'm talking to 15 people. It's 313 people on that call, on that Zoom. And I still had to go and meet with producers about a documentary and then come back. So it's like, so I want you all to know my days are not perfect at all. They are never the same. And being able to just roll with the punches. Andrew will tell you, there have been times I've just cried. I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And he'd be like, calm down, because he's Mr. Unemotional. Have yourself something to eat. Have yourself something to drink. Take 30 minutes to an hour to just center yourself. And then things just work better. Like, I'm always on, I can be up on 7, 8, 9, 10 all the time. And he's like, bring it down. Don't let your anxiety stop you from seeing what's in front of you. So, Andrew, did I do that any justice? Because you know you have to deal with me. You know what it is. So, giving thanks to God and having to be remind myself that I can tell a mountain to move and it's going to move. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Be anxious for nothing, but with prayer and supplication and with thanksgiving, let your request be known. Like when I was at the Bowery Mission Women's Center, man, to this day, Philippians is my book. What you talking about? I know what it's like to have money. I know what it's like to not have anything. And I do. And the only sustainer is him, because he gave me a purpose before anybody had an opinion about me. So I don't need a cosigner. He said it, I'm gonna do it. And it took me until my late 30s to understand the purpose over my life. Some people get it in their 20s, some people get it at 10. I got it in my late 30s while I was homeless. So I hope that answered the question, Andrew.
Definitely.
There was another queen. Was it, oh gosh, did she leave? Kimberly G, did you have something to add, Queen? I thought you were gonna say something.
Yes, Queen, I do. I just wanted to say your story of resilience and overcoming obstacles. And I'm only asking because you mentioned about overcoming invisible disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to, what words of advice would you part with to other entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs about overcoming the obstacles and to keep going when all the odds have been against you, on top of, as you mentioned, the easy face. Yeah.
Well, Queen, so I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and severe PTSD. It's documented. I am on medication. I have a therapist and a psychiatrist. And along with that, I have a great support network. My trusted support network. One of the coping skills I learned is play the tape all the way out. So let's say I'm so stressed and a thought might pop in about alcohol. I got to play it all the way out. I pray and I reach out to my support network and say, I'm struggling right now. I need to talk. And you know what? They're there because it's not, I don't put that on social media. My trusted network knows. Lotto had a song, I can't remember what it's called, but she said, I'm gonna show you how to ball when all odds are against you. And I can tell you, there have been many times in my life when the odds have been against me in every way. There was a time where I deeply resented being a Black woman. I deeply resented the Black community because I felt like if I don't look, sound, and act like entertainers or sports figures, you're never gonna pay attention to me. But you know what had to change? Is understanding, number one, we're not a monolith. We're not a monolith. Number two, athletes and entertainers do not represent all of us. And that's why it was important for me when it came to pitching, that I could show you, you can do it in the business world. And it doesn't have to be health and beauty or fashion too. You can make it. I have no problem talking about being 327 pounds, something I was ashamed of. I have no problem talking about being an unwanted child and knowing that my family allowed me to be murdered, be nearly murdered or sold. But my family didn't know any better because who was teaching them? We talk about getting a bag today. You know what means more to me than a bag? Supported community. My family is made up of those who've been in the trenches with me. In fact, one just got on. Rachel Hawkins is my Spelman sister. She was there for me when I was dating this man who treated me like trash. She was there for me when I was evicted from 2 apartments in New York. She was there for me when I started Curvy Girls. She was there for me when I wanted to give up and kill myself. And she's also there when I show up in Chicago, where she lives, and throws love on me, shows up at my keynotes. It reminds me, I see the difference in you now. You have a community. And everything they threw at you, you use as a brick to build your empire. The truth is, most of us women in our 30s and 40s, we're afraid to share with our real friends, if we have them, that we struggle. I have Zakia on here, who I met through Andrew Frazier. When I tell you there's nothing but love between us, she's in insurance. And you know, homegirl needed insurance. And we started connected in that way. And then we became friends. And I was there at her birthday get together, invited. And now we talk on the phone all the time. And we can start over where we started. When I tell y'all, I've been in the same house for 5 years. And I'm getting ready to move. And that is so scary. My credit score went from the lowest it could have been in my trauma, and stress, to now being on 721, 752, and 778. To go from no money to my name, to having the funds to move in New York City, New Jersey, wherever. When all odds were against me, I had to lean on his unchanging hand. I had to pray and I had to go over my affirmations. One of them, I'm the head and not the tail. Guard my heart and protect my mind, O Lord. God is with me and within me always. I am most prosperous when I'm speaking, leading, and influencing others as I celebrate my life. My life is golden. Anything and everything I touch turns to gold. My purpose was created by God, and his timing is always perfect. I'm abundant in all ways. That is what I do every morning. He gave me a trusted network. Everybody ain't my friend. That's why I said a trusted network. Who can deal with me at my worst? Because they're going to surely be there at my best. I celebrate my friends. I celebrate my support network when their birthdays come around. They got a new book coming out. They're doing things. I'm trying to show up. I can be freaking exhausted walking in the rain. I'm going to show up if I can. Because it's important that people see you in real life. Don't let online make you think those people are your friend. It's the ones who show up in real life. And luckily, under Andrew's tutelage, under the DV connector, under the people who they're blessed to bring into my life, I have a rich life. That's how I started to bawl when all odds were against me. I love our community because we're not a monolith. And I also love that some of us are so quirky. I love that. I love the fact that the people who diss me, they were only seeing me through one frame of reference and thought that's where I would live and die when I came back to life 5 years ago. So it doesn't matter about my billboards in Times Square. It doesn't matter about contracts. It doesn't matter about all of that. The fact is, when I showed people that they mattered to me, they showed me that I mattered to them. Some people will write a book, right? They will write a book and a mama and maybe a cousin will buy it. My family, other than my cousin Precious and my cousin Mika, they have never bought my books, have never shown up on my Zooms, even if they're free. And you know what, y'all? That's okay. It's okay. Because God blessed me with a family. And it includes our beautiful Black community, our Asian Pacific Islander community, our Latin and Latinx community, our white community, all of that. And I'm blessed. So make yourself known in other circles. Make yourself known in DV Connector Circle. They have people here who can help and be that listening ear and can show you that when you're struggling, we did too. And the race is not to the swiftest or the strongest. It's to those who are the most consistent and persistent. So Keisha G, if you're still here, Kimberly G, thank you for answering that question. And that's why I say every perceived flaw of mine is really my secret weapon. I'm not going to let people box me in, and I'm not going to let no people talk reckless on my name. not when I've been good to people and people have been good to me. I hope that helps.
That was so powerful. This entire, thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, Queen.
Thank you for sharing who you are. Thank you for sharing the best. We see the screen, Andrew. I don't know if you wanted
that's
that.
Precious.
Oh, no, that was me. That was me, Queen.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Can we-
So I just wanted to just ask a question. Precious, you have shared your story, you've shared your journey, and you've shared and expressed to us how you've walked in life as your authentic self. Can you talk a little bit about, because you clearly own your genius, can you talk a little bit about what it took for you to win those pitches? The nuggets, if you can drop any nuggets in this room right now to tell whether it's an entrepreneur who wants to enter a pitch contest to win hundreds of thousands of dollars, if it's somebody who's walking into an interview, what were the nuggets of wisdom, and can you tie in there what it took and how bringing your authentic self and banking on your own brilliance, how that made a difference?
Mass, who's speaking to me, because I can't see who they are. Who's speaking?
This is Kaylyn, Kendall.
Hi, Kaylyn. That's a great question. I want you all to know I have to leave at 12:40 because I have to get ready for my 1 o'clock Pitching for Profit 3-hour masterclass, and so part of that would have been answered there. So, Queen Kaylyn, thank you so much for that question. So when it came to pitching, we all know, we've all heard the basics: who you are, what you do, who you serve, some secret sauce, some facts, figures, and statistics if you're going into entrepreneurship, and your call to action. And all of that is great. All of that's wonderful, and all of that's fine. For those of you, please scan this code now, because I'm about to take it off the screen so y'all can just see me. But please scan this and please answer those questions. One of the things that I learned in my very first pitch competition is that some people coasted on who they knew. They coasted on a big name, but their pitches were boring to me, and I just could not accept that. So I know I'm a big personality because my personality has been so little for so long, and I wanted to unleash what I think makes better pitches and makes you slice and dice and slay all competition. So number one, it's starting off with a question, a startling statistic, or a quote. Your name and the name of your company is irrelevant until you give them a reason to care. So even when I was on Shark Tank and I started off like, it's Valentine's Day, you finally met the man of your dreams or woman. You know what time it is. It's time to find some sexy lingerie to set the mood off nicely. But you weigh over 200 pounds. What's a big girl in a city supposed to do? That's a very different intro from, hi, I'm Precious Williams. I'm the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Perfect Girls Lingerie. We create red hot, sexy, and stylish fashion forward lingerie. And you can check out our website, www.curvygirlslingerie.com. If you're a big girl, a fat girl, whatever, check us out. Very different. And even though I said personality with that one, but starting off with a question, a startling statistic, or a quote, you're interrupting the pattern of boring. Because people get bored here and name a company like this whole rote thing. I want you to switch it up. It interrupts the pattern of boring, and it makes people listen to you like, oh, they was over her playing on the phone. They're like, Joe, what'd she say? Or when I walk in and I'm like, ladies, raise your hands if you want to be a bad bitch with a power pitch. Yeah, I said it. I know some of y'all clutching y'all imaginary pearls. Fellas, I see you too. Fellas, raise your hands if you want to be a bad man with a master pitching plan. Now they all acting up. You've come to the right place. My name is Precious Williams, and then I go into something else, right, about media, investor, whatever. But that changes the direction, right? And even if you're an introvert, you can still find a way to dramatically bring that first part to a head. The second thing is when you're talking about the challenge or problem that your target market is having, I need you to do that before you offer yourself as a solution. And a lot of us are like, well, I do this. Well, did I ask you? So some people are like, would you like help with manifesting your goals? That means nothing to me. I know manifestation is a beautiful word, but how would they describe what their challenge or problem is? There is a big difference from, man, I just need people to buy my book. I need to get on their radar versus I want to manifest more sales. And there's a very big difference. So if you speak in the language of your target market, they'll hear you, they'll see you. So when you provide yourself as the only choice that matters, it will make sense and not sound like average, random, and ordinary pitches, whether that's online or in person. Offering yourself as the solution, drop a testimonial, drop a case, drop something that showcases that you're not just talking out the side of your neck. Who else has vouched for you? That's why you'll always hear me say 13-time national elevator pitch champion, top Fortune 100 corporate sales trainer, five-time #1 best-selling author of the Bad Bitches and Power Pitches series, 3 billboards in Times Square, because I'm linking numbers to showing you who I am. Been featured on Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, Forbes magazine, Black Enterprise, Essence, and all of those sort of things. Because I ain't pay for that. I'm on earned media. How did I get investors to invest in me and my clients? I taught over 400 pitch champions. We haven't talked about second and third place. We talking about champions, right? That puts a total different picture. The fourth thing is when it comes to your call to action, make it meaty enough, but also tell them exactly what to do. I've been telling y'all, go to this, scan this code. Let me take that off. Scan this code. Scan that code because I'm telling you specifically what to do and why it's important. DV connector, and I need to know, did I bring it today? Also, how can people get in contact with you? You might want to wait to say your name at the very end. When I get my Shark Tank pitch, as I got to the end, I said, Shark, you've heard the rest. Now you've heard the best. My name is Precious Williams, and I'm the proud founder and CEO of Cover Girls Lingerie, the ultimate shopping experience for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. You've been served. They were looking like, what? Yeah, because I need you to know my name can come at the end of this. I got you captivated from the beginning to the very end. And it worked. So y'all, this is my contact information. Please take it down. I'm sure DV Connector will make sure that you all get it. But I want you all, so Queen, I hope that helped. I'm well versed in this and I can do this all day long. But I hope that gave you a little something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Nuggets of wisdom. Loved it. Thank you.
Excellent.
And appreciate it. And I see is it Kaylyn? I know we don't have much time left. Is there a quick question? Kaylyn? Okay, I see your hand raised, but I'm gonna switch over really quickly to Don. Don Viapree, it looks like you're still here. Just wrap us up. Unless Precious, is there anything else that you want to share?
Yes, the final thing I want to say is thank you. I am honored that DV Connector has me today. Thank you, Don, for creating such a wonderful opportunity to make sure that our community and our network sees people like us, and we learn and we hear things with a different ear. And yes, you can make it in business. And you don't have to be an athlete or an entertainer to be an influencer, to be visible, and to be the only choice that matters. I want to thank you, Andrew, for bringing this to my attention. And I want to thank all of you for showing up today. And I need you all to take advantage of DV Connector. Keep coming back, be on the radar, watch emails, newsletters, and keep coming back. I promise you, it gets better and better when you actually see people who look like you, who are doing it. And they don't need to be on social media all day, every day to do it.
I want to express our eternal gratitude to you, Precious, because not only did you show up, but you pointed out with energy some powerful life lessons, because every experience and every step we make in life provides us with a life lesson. If we would only stop, if we would only pay attention and grasp that lesson and then convert that lesson into a plan of action, and then connect that plan of action with either the light within us and the lights around us,
Mm.
and then the team that supports and loves us, we can pass the 2,300 million galaxies within the universe and get to the next universe and remain unstoppable and inspired forever. And that's who you represent. And that's who you are, because you believed in the light within yourself. You got close to the light within yourself. Instead of looking for the lights outside, you stopped and you said, I have a light. My light must shine. My light is here to shine, and I will let my light shine. And that's why Precious is precious. And that's why Precious will not let anything or anyone hold her back anytime. And that's what the DV Connector is seeking to promote amongst ourselves, amongst those who show up, that we are here because we have a light within us, but we must let that light shine. We must not be afraid of our light. And then we must connect our light to other lights so that we can be blinding with power. We can be blinding with action. We can be blinding in order to show our possibilities, our potential, and live up to our promise. Because we were placed on earth as a privilege in order to fulfill our destiny and in order to complete our mission and our purpose. Before we close our eyes, while we all are in the exit lounge, looking at the neon light of that exit sign, we have work to do before we are called to go through. And we have no time but to do that work. So we thank you. We believe in you. We welcome you again and again and again. And we don't have to wish you well because you are well. We don't have to wish you luck because you are success. We don't even have to say that Precious is precious because that's who you were with your light. And more than that, you have shown us that we are all in abundance of everlasting love. We are all part of the power of truth if we would only accept it and live it. And that we are all seeking, as I told you, to reach out and accumulate our pockets of peace and our sparks of joy. We love you. Press on.
And that concludes our webcast. Thank you everyone for being here.